Acum 2000 de ani a existat o iertare care permite întunericul să-și schimbe căile. De data aceasta nu există iertare, nici răscumpărare. Căci ei știau ce fac.
And what exactly happened on 2017, on January 2017, with Obama and everything. This will be a very important subject. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Beatrice. Yeah, to reiterate a bit of what I said in the European meeting earlier today, what we need to look at is biblical prophecy and also, let's say, all prophecies, because it's all tied in together. But for all intents and purposes with this, I wish to find a course with Christ. Well,
No, we are not able to hear you on the internet. Your internet, it's
okay, can you hear me now?
yes.
All right, great. So I'll begin, and if you don't hear me well, please just let me know. So I don't like speaking if it's not being recorded.
Yes, so I hear you very well.
Oh, all right, you froze, so I was wondering. All right, I'll continue. Let's look at Christianity and let's look at the Bible and what was prophesied in Revelations, if you will, but not only in Revelations, in the book of Matthew and other parts of the Bible, other books. There is the reference to the end times in the beginning, if you will. So this is prevalent, not only through the Bible, through what you call New Age beliefs, Golden Age beliefs, prophecies worldwide. And so it is inscribed, at least to some extent, into all of these prophetic beliefs. Nevertheless, are you still hearing me? Is it still fluent? Mm-hmm.
No, it's good.
Nevertheless,
Your internet is good.
All right. Yeah. Nevertheless, one important thing, and again, we are in absolute divine times. What I wish to say is that the Christ component is upon the planet, and that is established within so many with what we call the Christ consciousness and the righteousness that comes with that Christ consciousness. So the Christ is actually upon the planet, if you will. And having said this, there was at least one predestined, I will say, that was written in Scripture, and it alluded to the Antichrist and what would occur around the timing of the Antichrist. And one of the specifics is that the Antichrist would come to power, and in about 3.5 years after power would initiate a peace accord. And after that quickly would be that downfall. This Antichrist would deceive the nations, and that's how the Antichrist would be recognized. So having said this, there was a certain one inaugurated, began a term on January 20th, 2017 from the US. Prior to that, in 2012, you had Obama going to Egypt to the pyramids. And this is very important because the pyramids are energetic constructs in the least. And what had occurred going back to 2012 and December 20th on the solstice, if you will, right around that time, December 20th to 22nd, some of the plans by the darkness was attempted there and to set, without going deep into how this actually works, let's just say after that visit, it became very clear to the remnants of darkness that the reign of power had somehow been limited, and it was unbeknownst to them exactly why, what it was. But it's also not too much later after that time, you had the Pope making a statement saying the Christ is on the planet. And very significantly, what occurred with Obama, then there was a plan that was supported, unbeknownst by the light, to put a certain individual in 2016 in office to be and play the role of the Antichrist. So when you apply the numbers, what has been written in Scripture, and do your research and do your work very quickly, you will see that all of the nations upon the planet were deceived by this particular one, and more so deceived into taking an experimental drug that usually takes 10 years to do a proper study on, was forced rushed upon the planet. So you also had the deception of the nations involved with that. Nevertheless, 3.5 approximate years after that, in December of 2021, I think it was, you had what was called the Abraham Accord, which was a peace instrument. And when you look into, I believe it's written in Matthew, would be the closest in the Bible, you will see the mention of the Antichrist, 3.5 years, a peace accord, which would mean the rise. It would be the top of the Antichrist, what it had to serve and do. Then after that, we lead into more of the reign of the Christ, because the Antichrist could not be successful. It is not in alignment with God. So then it was taken out of power, if you will, as we proceed forward with the Christ and the ascension of the planet. So just to keep it very simple, again, we are in, all of this has come to pass with the Antichrist. What this means is there cannot be any longer any uprising, any opposition or great resistance by the remnants of darkness. This means the coast is clear for the new world, for GPMS, dot world, and for all of the human souls. So we have come past a very important pivotal time that has been written about, and anyone that wishes to do a little bit of research, they can see more of what I'm speaking about. But I just superficially and generally just touched on it so that ones can see what I'm saying is accredited, and that the era and the time is distinctly set up for GPMS.world. Also, you can put in here the Great Hopi process prophecy. One would come from the east, which that one already did. You also can put in here an important South American prophecy of the eagle and the condor. This has come to pass. They have already joined. So you have so many pivotal, instrumental documentations of this very time we're in. So the only reason I brought this up was to let everyone know we got the green light, if you will, to divinely go ahead with GPMS as it is, and it's beginning to accelerate with consents as we go forward. And even on Christmas Day, 142 consents come in on Christmas Day. So it's, that's also indicating that the people are ready, it's happening, and let's say the old is not accepted any longer as it was. But I'll stop.
There's been a lot of talk this week, and there's been a lot of talk and a little bits and pieces. And what we're going to do is start this meeting off with a sort of semi-outlined agenda, or a little bit of a focal point on a few things. But the first one is what GPMS is, so that we can clear up some of this confusion, it seems, around what people think GPMS should be as opposed to what it actually is. And as Rick has just alluded to, what we had on the old site is this. A people's movement of change via a worldwide referendum to implement a new all-inclusive system. And this is what GPMS actually is. GPMS is an instrument of change. It is done by collecting a majority consent voice. And we are in phase one of this at the moment, where we are collecting the voice. This is what GPMS is. Not what GPMS does, but what GPMS actually is. It is an instrument. It is a collection place. It is a divine plan, God-given or creator-given for humanity to unite together around a freedom, a choice of freedom, where one's unalienable rights, their God-given rights and their abundance are equally shared amongst all, agreed upon at the collection place, which is what GPMS actually does. So GPMS isn't building all of these other things. GPMS isn't putting together the future. It isn't trying to state or guess what will be. It isn't taking all of what's wrong and saying we're going to make all of this right now. What it's saying is that there is a fundamental choice to be made by each and every soul upon this planet as to what it is that they want the future to look like. Not how, but what is it about? Is it about freedom? Is it about unalienable rights? Is it about God-given choices, the moral choice of self-determination of the individual on an equal basis, whereby everybody has everything that they will need. Everybody works with and for everybody else, as opposed to against. There's no profit, loss, and greed, and all of these things are gone. Are those the things that we do not want? So rather than trying to progress all of this by actually deciding how this is all going to look, what we've got to fundamentally do at this point is make the choice together that is what we will do. What GPMS simply states is that everybody is born with infinite value. 2 seconds, let me just mute. Infinite intrinsic value. Each and every one is infinitely valuable on their energetic intrinsic self. GPMS says that it agrees that everybody is the same and that everybody can come together and unite that value and unite the skill sets and unite the brilliance and genius that each carries uniquely within them to create all of the answers to all of the problems that may be in the air now, but